up the supplies for gonna do some weathering on the Cody Clone Trooper armor. I've got an orange stripe painted for the left thigh, and yes, I triple checked to make sure it was actually the left thigh before I did it. But yeah, I'm gonna do a live tape unveil. Can be scary. Who knows if I did a good job? But let's take this tape off. See how the stripe ends up. Hey, Ike, what's going on, man? Working on my Cody legs. Gonna do a little weathering. Thought I'd share it with everybody today. Let's see what we got here. Look at that. What are you doing today, man? Welcome aboard, everybody. Going to be doing some weathering on my Cody armor. So this is the thigh. I'm about to untape the stripe on the thigh. I did the legs today and yesterday, painting them all. Everything's pretty much white except for the thigh that has this, and the knees are a little bit different, but everything else is just a plain white. So about to untape the stripe here on the white. So let's see what happens. So when you're painting a color on a color like this, after I tape it down, I like to throw down a coat of the white on top of it, and that'll really help kind of cover anywhere where the tape is not sticking exactly. You want to get that down just to avoid any spillage and spillover. A nice clean tape line is always a good thing. It's like watching paint dry almost as exciting. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Nice clean line, nice clean line. Top, like so. And then you can see I still got the liquid latex on there. Let me go ahead and get that off. I'm going to start doing some black wash weathering. There you go. That's how it is. All right, so let's get going on some weathering. So I like to do my weathering in a couple different stages. Do a black wash typically first on all the pieces, 1 or 2 passes, and then go back and kind of add some blaster marks and some detail, some shading, things like that on there. I'm doing this all with acrylic paints. I do have an airbrush. I finally got it, but my airbrush paints aren't here yet, so I am waiting for those to come in. When those come in, I'll probably start doing some of this with airbrush as well. So I'll add a little cup of water, and I'm adding a nice little dollop of black acrylic paint. And I'll get that mixed in there. and then you just brush it on and wipe it off. I mean, it's not a difficult process at all. If you guys have any questions about what's going on here, just let me know in the comments. And I'm going to do this with the shin spoon in here because I want the weathering to be the same. The shin spoon is removable. Right here, that's how you get your foot in. I do it like that. So, yeah, but usually it takes 2 or 3 passes of this, you know, to get the effect you want. I'm going to do 2 or 3 passes, and I'll show you that with. Can you hear me now? Okay. Yeah. I think my phone was ringing. When my phone rings, it stops the audio here. Silly technology. So yeah, typically I'll do 2 or 3 passes of this until I feel like it's at a level that I like it. But yeah, you want it to be dirty. I've said it many times. It's what I love about the Star Wars universe. It's everything is lived in. But on a prop making, from a prop making side of things, the lived in and the weathering is great because it, you know, helps hide small imperfections. And you know, that's always good. So I'll have small little bumps and grazes and things in here, and you can use the weathering to hide that. That's powerful. Yeah, see, you can have little streaks get away from you like that. You want to get those before they get dry because they'll get a line. Eventually it gets to where you can almost just use the rag to do it because you'll get so much excess paint on the rag. So that's getting much better. I'm going to show you the comparison of clean white and then dirty. You can kind of see what you're going for there. But yeah, that one looks like it's about ready to go. Put that aside. I'll start on number 2. I'll get a new paper towel for this because this one's getting a little bit, like I said, now I could basically just use this if I wanted to and get a lot of the same desired effect. Just like brushing it on. So yeah, that works as well too, but still like to go back over it with this. I find this whole process therapeutic. This is fun. I also find sanding therapeutic. I like to say that I really hate sanding, but sanding is fun to me. Fun. Yeah. Any specific questions about what I'm doing, y'all, let me know. Please let me know. I'll take this back a little bit right here. So I'll show you what I was talking about. Rubbing alcohol. And then I'll take that down a notch. Won't take it down completely, but it'll take it down a notch. A little bit too. There we go. I got another one that looks like it's heading in the right direction. One more coat of this and move on to the next piece. I'll show you guys the shin spoon here in a sec too, just so you guys can get an idea of what that is and what I'm talking about. Shin spoon's a lot of, probably the hardest part. The seamless armor and making the shin spoon are probably the 2 hardest parts of a clone, realistic clone build. Animated clones don't have to do a shin spoon because they can have a seam on their leg. So yeah, the shin spoon, it's cool. So that piece comes out, you've got an empty piece like that, and in here there's a tab, right here, there's a tab, up here, and there's a tab on the other side, so you got tabs on both sides and tabs on the top, and you'll slide that in, and basically just clip it into those tabs. And then it makes a complete piece. So that's how you do the shin spoon. Alright, piece number 2 is done. So the knees. I love the knees. So this is silicone, and you can't really get regular paint to stick to it. So in order to paint this, you've got to use a Plastidip, Flex Seal, something like that. So I use a Plastidip first, which adds the gray, that's the center stripe, and then put the other paint on top of it. And then these 2 clips on the sides are just foam. Cut them out of a piece of foam. So I've got a foam roll and I use that EVA foam all the time for this kind of stuff. So that's for that detail on the side. There we go. There we go. All right, so same thing on this. Let's get some weathering done. You can see the black wash sticks a little different to this Montana Gold. Every paint kind of has a different, slightly different reaction to it. Yeah, I like to do all the black wash first, get all the pieces looking the same, and then I'll go on and add the blasters. And you know, this can take me sometimes 30 minutes, an hour. Just depends on how well it takes to the weathering. Sit for a little bit because it's not sticking as well to this. I'll get it good and dirty. I'll do it on this one too. Yeah, so this is all for my Commander Cody build. I've got a whole build playlist. Feel free to check it out. On the legs right now, just finished painting the arms. I am currently constructing the ab portion and the belt, and then I'll get on the chest back. It'll be done. I already got the helmet done. Really cool helmet. I encourage you to check out the playlist. It's very cool. Started building clones, I guess about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and really taught myself how to do everything while I was learning. So this is something that anybody can do, y'all. I mean, any one of y'all can do this. And I encourage you to give it a shot. Yeah, that's looking good. Let's get some good. Let's get some good. Let's get some good as well. So yeah. All right, now we just need the 2 thighs. Yeah, I love this armor. When I get towards the end of a build like this, I get really excited and I end up kind of rushing through and not taking the time to appreciate it. But his armor is by far the coolest to me, and it's surprising in like the number of paints that are in it and the number. I mean, there's like 9 different paint colors in the helmet of Cody. So a lot of really cool surprises in this. The little commander details are cool. Color scheme I think is really cool. So I think that Cody is he doesn't get the respect he deserves. You know, his look is to me is a whole lot better than Rex. I mean, he's got a jetpack, for crying out loud. He's got a damn jetpack. Jetpacks are better than skirts, which is why Cody is better than Rex, in my opinion. Rex technically didn't really even invent until wasn't really invented until the cartoon. going to do this, and then I'm going to show y'all. I would estimate, I have to go and weigh the tote and weigh everything else. The ABS plastic pieces, like all of these pieces, are not heavy at all. This is probably a pound, maybe. So you're looking at maybe probably 20 pounds for the ABS, but then when you get into the resin cast pieces, they're always heavier. And I've got resin cast shoulders. The helmet is resin cast, and then originally I had a resin cast jetpack, but I felt like it was too heavy, so I traded that for a 3D printed thing. So with all the accessories and everything, probably 25, 30 pounds. Not uncomfortable at all to wear. The only uncomfortable part is the helmet. It gets uncomfortable after a duration of wearing it. Yeah, no, it's nothing really uncomfortable or difficult about wearing these. Go there. All right, so let's play around with some making some blaster marks, which is always fun. I'll do a couple different techniques here to really make this work. I'll use primarily black acrylic paint and some silver rub and buff to do this. All right. So one thing I like to do is I like to use this to cover imperfections, and you can see I've got, I don't know if you can see, but there's slight dents here where I made the seam, as well as up here there's a little bit of a kind of a crook, so I'm going to turn those into blaster marks. I just think it's kind of a neat way to incorporate these into the process. So start with just the initial black mark, which looks fine, but doesn't really look like the blaster. I'll do one there. Through here and do a couple. And we want to make it seem, like there's a reason for them doing this. You don't want just random. This one. Yeah. I like to incorporate kind of too where it's coming through on the orange. I feel like that'll look like it should be a blaster. Now, you don't want too much, you don't want too little, you don't want it too, too much in a pattern. That's a good start. That's step one. Step two, I'll come through and do some dry brushing around where I did those marks, and because that looks just like, it looks cool, but that just looks like paint. But then when we come through and dress it up, it's a whole lot better, I feel like. Okay, so got a mostly dry brush here. I'm going to come through and just kind of dry brush around it. And it just adds a whole new dimension to those when you get that kind of outside of it. So there's that plain Jane. So just think it adds a whole new dimension to these when I paint on that. I also like to kind of go into the seams here and do the same kind of dry brushing just to give it a little bit of a shadow. This is where dust would have accumulated, dust, dirt, grime. So and then you can go too heavy and take it back as well. And then the last step that I like to do is take a little rub and buff and just kind of get this very center. At the very center of it. And just have a little silver coming up through there. See how it kind of gives it a little shine when it turns? Yeah, basically. So with this one, this is the first suit that I did that is a face character that you can actually see in a movie. So there are certain things that, like on the chest, there's 3 blaster marks across the chest that I'm going to have to replicate. On the helmet, I replicated the blaster marks on the helmet because there's a couple good shots where you can see them. The thighs here, there's not really anything long enough to where you need to do something specific. So yeah, I'm just going for random and trying to basically cover any damage that I wasn't able to cover before. So just a very tiny bit in the center, and then I kind of buff it out. Down here. This is something that's almost like not even seen, but I think that adds a layer of authenticity to it, you know. I'm trying to do some light dry brushing of this around some of these. And it makes the armor seem like it's got a little bit of a, like it's real, like it's painted on metal, plastideel, whatever this stuff's made out of. To be honest, I don't know what in-universe clone trooper armor is supposed to be made out of. But yeah, that's how I do it, y'all. That is how I do the blaster marks. So I'll usually do this, let it sit for a little while, go back and look at it and see if I want to add more, because I'm pretty sure I want to add, actually I'm going to add a blaster mark up there. I already feel like it's missing one. So we need something in this area. We'll probably go just like that. This one fanned out. It's a little bit fanned out already. Yeah, I try to do it on all the blaster marks just lightly, and then sometimes I'll put a little bit on edges of things because it, you know, it makes it look like it's like right here, maybe a little bit of a strip there. Again, I don't want to get, you can go overboard on rub and buff really easily, but it can also look really cool if you do it right. So a little strip there, and it, see how that is? It's kind of cool. So I'll do the other side of that as well. It just adds a focus to that hard edge that's right here on the knees. So yeah. Yep, that's how I do it, y'all. That is how I do it. Alright, so thank you for joining me for this. I hope you guys learned a little something. Stay tuned. I've got the full video on how I did the legs, including the how-to on the shin spoons, which is really a difficult part of the whole process. But stay tuned for that. That'll be the next video out, probably next Sunday, about a week from now. But getting started on the, here, let me show you where we're at. So now we are starting on this inner portion. It's the clone diaper. And it's the beginning of the end for me. Once I do this, it's just, like 2 more parts to get done. So that is how we do. So yeah, thank you for being here, dudes. Ike, always a pleasure, man. It's awesome that you stick around. It's awesome that you're watching. May the force be with all of y'all. Take it easy.